Okay, so this audio didn't work particularly well, so I thought I'd re-record it after the event. But this is me, and I was giving a little brief intro onto exactly what we're doing. We're at Hooton Park up in Ellesmere Port, which is a great track, I'd just like to say, for getting started in any kind of racing. It's pretty forgiving track and plenty of runoffs, and they do very little corporate work, so there's often lots of track time. Anyway, what I'm blithering on about in the background here is just telling you that this is a senior rotax car. It's exactly the same as any other senior rotax car. It's an Evo kart. And the only difference between this kart and the other kart you'll see in this video is the weight of the driver, which is significantly different. I am 50 years old. This is my first time ever in a senior rotax. I'm not particularly fit. I'm little bit overweight, quite a bit overweight, and yeah. However, the one thing I do have going for me is that my sons have both been karting for around about 8 years now, so I know my way around these karts. So I'm not just turning up to a track and hoping for the best, which is quite interesting, really, because if you're starting out in karting and you're thinking of having a go, then yeah, please do it. But if you can buddy up with somebody who's done it before, it'll be a massive, massive help. Um, you know, just knowing you've got everything covered, knowing the, silly things like you've got the setup right. I've got a setup dialed in here, which I know is going to be decent enough to get me around here, all day long. I haven't got to worry about it. Whereas you often see people turning up, they bought a car off eBay and they don't know what to change on it. And it's set up completely for a different track, and you're just leaving time on the table. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's go and have a look at the car in a little bit more detail. Okay, so this is a 2017 OTK. It's an Alonso chassis, but Tony Kart and everything else, they're all the same thing. This has a Rotax Evo engine on. Well, technically it's a non-Evo engine, but it's got all Evo internals on it, and more importantly, it's got all the Evo ancillaries on it, and a power valve. That's kicking out around about 30 horsepower, I think. We're running Mojo D5 tyres, which we've brought off Facebook. And yeah, it's basically been built up out of spare parts that I've got lying around, and I've borrowed the engine off one of my son's go-karts, so let's give it a go. Okay, so this is us going out for the first time. Kart there, 72, that is my son. He's 15 at the time, but in recording this video he's turned 16, so he's quite happy in a senior Rotax, very comfortable in it, and obviously quite a bit fitter than I am. Anyway, here we go out onto the track for the first time, and I push the accelerator. It's only at this point you suddenly realise exactly what you've let yourself in for. It is brutal, and I mean brutal. I've had motorbikes and various other high-performance cars over the years, but this, when you pull out the pitch, you think, yeah, this is okay, I can cope with this, and then the power just comes on, and it's there. It's crazy. So obviously I'm taking it a bit gingerly for my first lap, just trying to feel what is this kart going to do, Now, full disclosure here, I have done 4 laps in a senior Rotax once before, but it absolutely killed me, and I could not do more than 4 laps. And it wasn't at this track, it was another track, and that was about 4 years ago. Now, this didn't kill me as much, so this really important thing to note here is I spent a bit of time trying to get the right seat to fit me, and I think that has made a massive difference. Getting the right seat really did help. It wasn't pressing on my rib cage constantly and making me gasp for breath. So to be honest, yeah, the fitness was a pain. Here we go. This is the first people. Oh no, this number 8 is somebody who was also recently new to karting. Was a lot fitter than I am, and definitely a better driver. But we were helping them out as well on that day. And yeah, Si, if you're watching this, He did really well that day. Just got better and better and better all day through, so that was really good. But it was somebody, you know, to give me a chance to, somebody's come past me, I can try and stay with them, which I'm trying to do, but it is so hard. Now, obviously I know this track, I know where the lines are. I've done a track walk with my son who definitely knows where the lines are, but it is so difficult putting it into practice. And what I found was it's just the grip, the acceleration, it's the G-forces on you, you know, as somebody who's not in their prime anymore, it's really difficult. I've run a bit wide there, and this is the first bit that you start to see. Okay, this is me starting to push it a bit, and you see I'm going wide at pretty much most corners. I'm not taking any curb there. I'm getting too close in here. A bit squirrely on the exit there. Now, this is the important bit. Coming down to turn one, you know, it should be a nice, I completely missed the apex there. Should be a nice turn in, nice and smooth, the same with turn two. But the problem is you go at a certain speed and you try and make the corner, and if you don't get it right, you're like, oh, I'm glad I didn't go any faster into there. But then when you do go into a corner and you get it right, you're like, wow, I could have taken that corner twice as fast. And this is the conundrum you are constantly in, especially when you don't bounce as well as you used to do off things. Now this is me now just pointing to let people pass there. I think you'll find there's probably somebody. No, that was just the one car there. But what you find is, if you can hit the corner right, that's brilliant. You can go through really quick. And this is important as well. This is just stop here and mention this. Awareness around the track. Now you'll notice I'm not swerving around, changing my lines or anything, but I'm aware of those people are there, and I'm just pointing them, not because I'm telling them what to do so much, more about I'm aware that you're there. I know you're going to want to pass me. I'm just letting you know I ain't going to move off my line. There's plenty of room to come past me like you'd overtake another competitor. Go past me. You know, I'm not going to fight you for it. There you go. Just come past me. You can come past me off the racing line. You'll be back in on the racing line before I'm anywhere near that corner. That was my son going past me, lapping me there, which was the first of many humiliations for the day. So yeah, I'm trying to build my speed up here, and I'm currently lapping somewhere in the region of around about 42 seconds, I think, in this first session. I'll have to double check the data, but about 42 seconds a lap. Put that into context, my son was lapping in the 35-second mark, so about 7 seconds a lap slower, which in karting terms, 7/10 you'd be left standing. 7 seconds a lap. Yeah, you can kind of see why they're lapping me, but there you go. I didn't take that corner too bad then, and again, I'm trying to miss the apex there again, but I'm trying to build my speed up. I'm trying to get my confidence up, and it is coming, but it is so physical, and it's just so scary that if you get it wrong, you feel like this car is permanently trying to kill you. It's your job to stop it, which is a great sense of achievement when you feel like you've done that and you've survived the session. But as I say, it's just so difficult to get the confidence to go into that corner. Like here, I mean, I'm pulling 65 mile an hour down here. My steering was a bit rubbish there. Missed that apex again. Too much oversteer. And coming down to turn one, again, getting your braking. If you have to brake too hard, then you're going to miss it completely. That didn't look too bad from the video. This was my Achilles heel all day. This double apex, and here we go, and I'm off. And that was my first spin. Too much confidence, and I'm off. I quickly got it back on the grass just to get out of the way. And this is the hardest bit about karting, especially as you get old. These things are heavy when they're stuck in the grass. and trying to get them back on track, and especially when the only place you can get back on track is on the racing line, you've got to pick your moment and really approach with caution. So I kind of wait, I check, I make sure nobody's coming, but I'm shattered by this point. I just dragged 85 kilos over wet grass that doesn't want to move. So I have a lot more respect for my son who has to do it, who doesn't weigh 85 kilos, whereas I am way above that. So at this point I thought, you know what, I've had enough of the first session, we'll get back in. So put my hand up, pull into the pits, and take it from there. I'll just highlight this last bit of audio though, because I think it sums up how the session went. Okay, so this is a few sessions later. We're going out now. The sun's gone out the front somewhere, and yeah, you just see that I think I might have missed a few sessions on the camera. They didn't record every time. It's an old GoPro Hero 3, so it's not the greatest, but does the job. That was my first overtake, I think. Somebody else I think was starting off on that day, so yeah, it's going well. Again, this double apex, I'm completely getting it wrong, and I need to go back and review that and see exactly what's happening there. But I'm building up my speed. I've kept this video in though because there is a little bit of drama in it. So you can see here as well how much more speed everybody else could take through turn 1, and that was better for turn 2 for me, but not great. I come down here into the braking zone, turn around, and there. Nothing I could do about it. Obviously that driver puts his hand up, but that's it. I'm stuck, I'm out. Now, you might notice the video after this does go rather shaky, and I've only seen this since reviewing the video, so something's come loose that I didn't notice at the track on the day, which I'll have to have a look at. But yeah, I carried on with those sessions there, so there's not really that much else to say. But again, it's scary being in such a precarious position, on the exit of a hairpin. Trying to get back on track. The best way you can, usually with these karts, is drag them by the back bumper. You try and pull them from the front. Obviously, being a solid axle, there's no diff, so the wheel just does not want to move at all. So pull it by the back is often the easiest way to do it. But I get back in and I'll wait for these to go past, and absolutely crapping myself now. As you can see, it's quite scary. Anyway, off we go. Pull a bit in the traffic, and yeah, I'll let other people know, hey, come on, just come past me. But it's easier. I'd rather be moving and have them come past me than sat still. So yeah, I'm not the only one by the looks of it. That's 2 off in the double apex. So yeah, it was, and that wasn't really my fault, but I carried on anyway and tried to make the most of the session. So yeah, all in all, pretty good. In fact, I think during the course of the day I was getting better and better. What we'll do now is we'll jump to my last video. It's got one of my better laps on it, and we'll just discuss that and see what we can pull apart from there. Let's go over to that. Okay, so this is the last session I did. Now, we were there all weekend. We stayed over on site, which you can do at pretty much most tracks around the UK. They allow you to stay there. They rarely charge. Usually the only time they might charge is at big events. They sometimes say, you need to pay an extra bit for the paddock. Some charge you, obviously, if you want paddock spaces, pit bays and things like that, but just on a practice day, you're not going to have to pay for that. You know, so yeah, all in all, it was a great weekend. We got so lucky with the weather. You know, I was adamant I was not putting wets on, whatever happened, and we didn't have to, thank God. So you can see now I'm trying to take a bit more speed into this corner. I'm trying to hit the apex, you know, do as little steering as I can. That wasn't too bad. I did clip the curve, I think, a little bit there. You know, but I'm definitely pushing. So my best, I missed it there completely. My best lap, and I'm not sure it's on here, was, brace yourself, was a 39.7, which is, I must admit, is pretty dismal. My son's best lap. So we just to put into context, I bought 2 sets of tyres from Facebook second-hand off the same person with the same amount of laps on, apparently. So we basically chuck a set on each. So I said, look, we'll have the same tyres and we'll see. And he was lapping, I think, 35.3. There's number 32, that's Curtis. He's a regular podium finisher at Hooton Park. Really good driver. So yeah, 35.3 versus 39.7. Yeah, it's still way off. However, the one thing I did take with me, which you should remember to take with you, whether you're starting out in karting or are a seasoned pro, is a big bag of excuses. Now, obviously, I weigh a lot more than him, so every kilo accounts for a second on track. So I've been told. Or was it a tenth? I don't know. To be fair, if you look at the differences between, say, a senior rotax 162 and a 177 race, they're identical. The only difference is purely the minimum weight you have to weigh in at the end of the race, which is really good because you have, you know, you can see then on the same day of a race what a heavier kart will race at, and it's roughly around about 9/10 a second, something like that. So, you know, if I was as good as my son, which obviously I'm better, then I should be about a second off his pace. So there's obviously a problem with my kart. So what we will do to settle this once and for all is, after I finish this session, you're in for a bit of a treat here. He's going to drive my kart. Now, he is much smaller frame than I am, and he did say afterwards, yeah, he wasn't too impressed with having such a big bucket of a seat to sit in, but yeah, we'll see. So I will let this lap run out, but what I would say in summary of this whole video is that if you're a little bit older and you think maybe rotax isn't for me, I would say do your research. You've got a choice really, rotax or pro kart. Now, I drove a pro kart recently and I must admit I really did enjoy it, and I think, if I'm honest, if I wanted to race regularly, if I could find a track that I could get to, that I could race a pro kart, I think I'd be more competitive in a pro kart than I am in a rotax. A rotax, you have got to be, you know, right out at the edge all the time. There's me making an overtake, you know, so I was getting better. But the rotax is, you know, you're fully committed all the time. You know, even looking over my shoulder at times, and I nearly went off the track. You know, in fact, this is a pro kart ahead that we're just catching up with, so it's a nice segue here. You can see the difference in speed. You know, this is a young person in a pro kart, and this is an old fat bloke in a rotax, and you can see the difference. And that's a young person in a senior X30, I think, which are, you know, again, similar power, but they tend to deliver their power all the way through the rev range, and they do rev a lot more as well. So, in summary, it was a fantastic experience. I loved it. I really did love it. The speed, the power, the grip, the challenge. And I think that's the thing, the challenge of trying to get this car around the track you know, in a reasonable time is really fun, and that's ultimately why we go racing. I think the novelty would wear off if I was just doing this all the time. I think at some point I'm going to want to race, but this is the problem. I'm nowhere near. I couldn't enter a race now. I would be the back marker and I would be being lapped. So yeah, if you want to get straight out there and get racing, you're overweight, you're not particularly healthy, you're old, go for a pro kart. However, don't be put off by the rotax. There's my son coming past every time. You see the difference, how much more speed he carries through that first corner and the second one. Within 2 corners, he's pulled out nearly half a straight on me, and that highlights the difference in speed. But no, I would say the rotax is so much fun. It's hard to walk away for that. So I think the stubborn part of me would say, you know what, I'll stick with the rotax, and you know, I'll try and get fitter. I will try and get fitter, and I'll try and put the laps in. I did find it did get to my hands quite a lot. I found that was the only place I really suffered, you know, quite a bit of pain was in my hands, but I think that was just purely because I was gripping on for dear life around most of these corners. But yeah, I mean, I didn't take that too bad. All of it was not too bad by the end. I was just slow, apart from the double apex, which I don't think I got right once during the whole day. It was just atrocious. My entry, my exit and everything. The chicane was not particularly good either. I was better at this now. You can see I'm trying to keep more of a middle line through there, which seems to work much better. And I'm trying to push my brake in right the way down into here. Again, I clipped the curve a little bit there, but it wasn't horrendous. That wasn't horrendous either. So anyway, to leave you, I will leave you with one of my son's laps in this car with these tyres. So, you know, exactly the same. Literally, I got out of it and said, look, do you want to take it round? Let's see, you know, is it the car or is it the driver? So the question you all wanted to know, is it the kart or am I just slow? Well, let's move into one of Ronnie's laps. Okay, so this is Ronnie in my kart. He only did 6 laps in it, and this is the 5th lap, which was his fastest lap. So let's just see what he can do. He's a little bit smoother through there, just a bit. It wasn't particularly smooth through there. He did say, because of the seat, he really had to adjust his driving style. I mean, he completely missed the apex there as well. He said he was really struggling with the car. He said it was hideously bound up. He said it just would not release at all. He said the steering was atrocious. He hated the seat. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There you go. He came in for his lap there and got overtaken, which he was most unhappy about, by a senior X30. Because I don't think he'd been overtaken all day, so he was not happy. So the time, what time did he get there? So my best time was a 39.7, and that last lap you just saw there was a 36.6, I think. Was a 36.7. So it was a 36.7. So just the 3 seconds quicker. Yeah, so it wasn't the car, but it was interesting because it was still significantly slower than his own car. But he did say he was really struggling with this. It was not, even though it was set up very, very similar, it was not how he wanted it. So yeah, 3 seconds a lap quicker in the same car. So, you know, potential's there. Just need a little bit of improvement on the driver. So yeah. Okay, so just to end off, I wanted to throw in this image because this was one of the few times during the day that Ronnie went off into the double apex. Now, There was another driver on there, I think, who was starting out, and to be fair, as a faster driver, you need to give space, and he did give space, and there had been no incidences. It's just I think the other driver was aware he was there, and he was alongside him, and he started to move out. So Ronnie took to the grass. It did mean that I overtook Ronnie. And we will ignore the fact he was probably already 2 laps ahead of me, but I did overtake him, and yeah, I'm going to take that as a win and a highlight of the weekend. So yeah, I overtook him. That was probably my best overtake, and he will not hear the end of it. So enough of my voice. I think we'll end this video here. Just wanted to throw in this pick, as this is kind of what the weekend was about for us more than anything else. Just father and son at a racetrack, the sun out, go-karts, and cooking up burgers with a can of cider just to finish the day off. And I think it's really important to remember that, keep the karting fun. That is what it's about. It can get incredibly competitive and expensive, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, if anybody has any questions or needs any advice or anything around getting started in rotax, leave a comment, reach out to us, and if you're around Hooton, definitely feel free to pop in and say hello. We'll always try and help wherever we can, and yeah, hopefully we'll make a few more of these videos and see what happens, and I can get a little bit quicker. So for now, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.